Crazy weekend, my dudes. Welcome back to the channel. 13 preseason games tonight. One of which, the reason why this video is a bit later, because the Anaheim and Arizona game went into shootout, I believe. So 13 preseason games. None of them, not a single one of them, went the way that I thought they were going to go. We'll get into those a bit later. First, if you notice, I'm wearing the Vegas Golden Knights jersey. You guys voted for it on Twitter. It was between Vegas. I think I had Vegas, Philadelphia, Buffalo, and Minnesota. You guys picked Vegas. If I had my own choice, it would have been Florida. I do have two Florida Panthers jerseys, actually. They kicked the crap out of Dallas 6-0. We'll get into those in a minute, though. First thing I wanted to talk about, a little bit of news regarding Dustin Byfuglien. He's suspended by Winnipeg. A day or two after Winnipeg said, he can take all the time he needs. Paul Maurice actually had a press conference, and he said there's nothing sinister behind Dustin Byfuglien's decision to take a break from the game. Byfuglien himself had said he had just lost the love for the game, which is not uncommon in older players, especially, and I wouldn't even call Dustin Byfuglien older, but when you play the game the way that he does, very, very physical brand of hockey, a lot of those hits stick with you, and a lot of people don't realize it hurts to hit somebody. I've played hockey for going on 23 years now, both as a goalie. I occasionally play right wing. I play a more physical game when I'm not playing in net, and it hurts almost as much to hit somebody as it does to get hit if you're expecting it. So, and I believe Byfuglien had missed, half of the season last year due to an injury. So, it was kind of odd that they decided to suspend him for failure to report, especially when Paul Maurice seemed to be completely supportive, and the Jets organization in general seemed to be completely supportive of it. But hey, I guess that is what it is. I don't want to call anything this early, but don't be surprised if Dustin Byfuglien does not return to the Jets at all, even if he returns back to hockey. If Dustin Byfuglien does not come back, obviously, I believe I heard somewhere they will lose his cap hit, which is kind of good for them considering the state of the team at this point. Losing Trouba was not good, but Winnipeg doesn't have much of a blue line left, so we'll see where that goes. Anyways, going into the preseason games, like I mentioned, Florida defeated Dallas 6-0. That was that game was nuts. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. I was not expecting Florida to perform that well against Dallas. Montembeault was in net. And in case you're wondering, I have my notes off to the side here, kind of behind the camera. To my right, your left, probably, if you're looking at this. Was not expecting Florida to perform that well. Florida has yet to win a preseason game, which was surprising to me. Did not expect them to shut out the Stars 6-0. So, hey, well done, Coach Quenneville. Well done, Florida. Next game I've got up here: Vegas Golden Knights, San Jose Sharks, which is the reason why I'm wearing this jersey. Probably the reason why you guys voted for it on Twitter. Was very excited for this game, especially after how the playoff series between these two teams went. Vegas ended up winning thanks to Pacioretty and Tuck and former Carolina Hurricane Valentin Zykov, 3-1. Not much to talk about there. It was a good game. Another good game, Montreal versus Ottawa. Montreal shut out Ottawa 4-0, which is surprising. Did not get to see any of Primo at all, which I am very excited for. Caden Primo is a good player. Cale Primo, I mean. Kincaid also played the whole game for Montreal. He did well. Not too much to talk about there. Next game, New Jersey Devils, New York Islanders. Devils defeated the Islanders 4-3. Boqvist did very well. Gusev got a goal and an assist, I believe, for the Devils. Islanders, Barzal obviously got one. Komarov got one. Koivula got one. So that was a solid game. I caught a few highlights of that one. Next game was not so good, and that is Carolina Hurricanes at Washington Capitals. This game, I think a lot of us Hurricanes fans and a lot of Caps fans were kind of looking forward to, but also not looking forward to. The Hurricanes had gone undefeated up until tonight in the preseason, and they hadn't even been scored on in the preseason. Washington got a lot of help from one player in particular on the Hurricanes roster, Freddie Claesson, who, I hate to say it, he's a good pickup. I don't think he's going to be on the NHL roster. And he made, every player makes mistakes, but his two biggest mistakes, unforced turnovers in the defensive zone that went right to Capitals players, like right on their tape. Both of those translated into goals against, so not a very good showing for him. Hurricanes looked tired, for lack of a better word, first and second period. Third period, they seemed to get their act together. Gauthier is making a strong case to snag a spot on the NHL roster. Gauthier looked phenomenal. He didn't score tonight, but I believe he got an assist. First goal that ended up going in was none other than Brock McGinn. Scored finally, broke Samsonov's shutout. And Caps fans, I got to give it to you. Ilya Samsonov is an insane goaltender. He's you guys' future. After Holtby leaves, whatever happens with him, Ilya Samsonov is going to carry you guys into the post-Ovechkin years. You're very lucky to have him. Insane. And this is coming from a goaltender. I've been a goalie for the majority of my hockey career. Ilya Samsonov is good. Forsberg on the Hurricane side did not do so well. 2 goals given up in 10 shots. So he didn't get a lot of help. And again, 2 of those goals, the 2 goals that were scored on him were, I would say, directly Freddie Claesson's fault. The guy just got married last night, so, and it's preseason, so I'm not too upset, but very, very, very dumb mistakes from a relatively veteran presence on the ice. Reimer came in and gave up 1 goal on 10 shots, so 900 save percentage. We're not going to talk about that anymore. That game was not fun to watch. Next game, another surprise for me personally. Buffalo beat Toronto 5-3. Carter Hutton played pretty well. Toronto split the time between Hutchinson and Neuwirth, so that was a good game. Next one, Philadelphia beat New York Rangers 4-1. Carter Hart this time actually did play very, very well. I'm very excited about Carter Hart. Watched him since he was in Everett Silvertip, which is my favorite CHL team, if you guys were wondering. Next game, Minnesota beat Colorado 4-3, which was interesting. Was not expecting Minnesota to beat Colorado, but again, Colorado isn't fielding Rantanen right now because he's still unsigned. So there's that. Columbus Blue Jackets beat Pittsburgh Penguins, which I am kind of surprised about. Pittsburgh, I think, is going to have a little bit of a backslide this year. They're losing Kessel. So we'll see how that works out, but I'm very surprised Columbus beat them. Next game, Nashville-Tampa Bay. Hurricanes were able to shut out Tampa Bay in the first 2 preseason games of the preseason. Not surprised Nashville beat them. What I'm surprised about is the score and the fact that it went to overtime. I know Nashville is not a bad team. I know Tampa Bay is not a bad team, but I was not expecting Nashville to let up 4 goals and have to go to overtime. So there's that. Chicago beat Boston in overtime 3-2. That one's kind of a surprise. I was kind of banking on Boston to win that one, but Chicago has so many good prospects, right? Well, not so many, but they've got a pretty good little pick of prospects there. So not a huge surprise, but still a surprise nonetheless. LA beat Vancouver 7-5. Watching LA play last year, I'm very, and again, this is just preseason, so I'm not saying that any of this is going to translate for any team going into the regular season, but LA beating Vancouver 7-5 is completely unexpected from me. I don't know about you guys. Next one, Arizona beat Anaheim 4-3. I believe it was a shootout. I didn't get to watch the game. I just kept up with the scores online and on Twitter, just because I was busy watching all of these other games, watching the highlights from the other ones, finishing up an article I have due tomorrow, I believe. So, yeah, crazy night. 13 preseason games. Hurricanes lost, which is I don't want to say it was bound to happen, but after watching that game, I completely understand why. A lot of issues on both sides of the ice. The best takeaway, though, is Julien Gauthier is NHL ready, in my opinion. Guy was phenomenal last year in Charlotte. Absolutely has knocked Nichas out of the front runner for an NHL spot coming out of camp. Rest of it is still yet to be determined. The Hurricanes did reassign Helvig and Booth to the AHL today, so it looks like it's Mrazek, Nedeljkovic, and Reimer, along with Forsberg, kind of battling it out for NHL spots. Mrazek, I guarantee you, is going to be the starter. So basically, it's up to Reimer, Nedeljkovic, or Forsberg to become the backup. Now, as a Greenville Swamp Rabbits season ticket holder, there was an event that was held back in August, I believe, the beginning of August. It was a sort of a fan fest. We got to talk to the owner, the new management, coaches, a couple players were there. And the general manager of the Swamp Rabbits was very confident in what he said, in that they expected Callum Booth to play quite a bit in Greenville, and Helvig and Booth both played in the ECHL with the Florida Everblades last season. So if I were willing to bet, I would say either Booth or Helvig, maybe both in the ECHL. Forsberg and Nedeljkovic in the AHL. Even though Nedeljkovic is fully NHL ready, I do believe he deserves a backup spot. I just don't think he's in the position quite yet to overtake Reimer. And then Mrazek and Reimer in the NHL. That being said, who knows? Booth and Helvig are definitely bound for the AHL, ECHL. At that point, it's sort of up in the air, and it's not a bad problem to have. Faulk rumors are still kind of swirling. It seems as if the Anaheim-Carolina deal that would have sent Faulk to Anaheim and Kasha back to Carolina and some other pieces, seems like that's dead. Haven't heard much else. There are rumors swirling around out there, but none of them really hold weight for me. That may have just been a way to drum up interest in Faulk. I can't imagine that Faulk is going to be in Carolina for much longer, and you guys know my position on that. I've discussed that in my other videos. I just, looking at the lineups, I can't say that Faulk fits in, especially as a third pairing at best, just because Pesce has fully made it well known that he deserves a second pairing spot along with Jake Gardner. Slavin and Dougie guarantee you have the first pairing locked down. Third pairing will be a mixture of Jake / Josh Bean, Hayden Fleury on the left side, maybe Gustav Forsling, I don't know. And then on the right side, you've got Trevor Van Riemsdyk, who could be interchangeable. Bean, I'm sure, could play as offside. Fleury has played as offside before if TVR isn't ready. But yeah, we've talked about that before. We'll just have to see how that shakes down. So yeah, that's the preseason update for Saturday. Sorry this video is a little bit later. It's currently 12:30 in the morning. Reason it was a little bit late is because Arizona and Anaheim went over a little bit, but that's not too bad. We've got a couple games tomorrow. I believe there are 4. Hurricanes don't play again until Wednesday when they play Nashville, and that's a televised game. So yeah, that's about it. Again, thank you guys so much for your viewership. I really appreciate it. If you made it this far, I greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to click the subscribe button. Click the thumbs up button if you want on to enjoy the video. And in the comments section, let me know what you guys think about these games tonight. Specifically Florida-Dallas. That one was a biggest surprise out of that whole list for me. Also, Byfuglien. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on Byfuglien. Do you think Winnipeg was kind of okay in suspending him after what they said? Or, I don't know. I'm not very happy about that. I'm not even a Jets fan, but it is what it is. So again, like I said, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's the most active social media platform that I'm in, or I guess the social media platform in which I am most active. I'll leave the link to my profile in the description. Again, I'll leave the link to the Cardiac Cane articles that we write about these games in the description below. And yeah, thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.